What are those key programs that we could put in place together to test out how we market together? And so let's put a jumpstart kit together that we give. It's a gift. This is our, we're new partners. This is our gift to you. This is the jumpstart. We're going to pay for it, and we're going to help you.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for tuning into Channel Voices, the podcast for future channel leaders, where we learn the ins and outs of partner ecosystems through casual conversations with channel professionals from a variety of industries, partner types, and geographies. My name is Maciek, and I'm your host. I am absolutely delighted to host today's guest. She's a channel marketing professional with an amazing experience in the technology sector. She held senior partner marketing positions at companies like Plex Systems, Ipswich, Progress, and Akamai. Recently, she has joined Globalization Partners as Senior Director of Partner Marketing.
Joan Groleau, welcome to Channel Voices.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here with you today.
Joan, I've spoken to quite a few channel professionals throughout my career, but there's one piece that I think is somewhat confusing to people still, especially when it comes to marketing and how do you do marketing with partners. So definitely not a better person for today's conversation. You have been in channel marketing throughout most of your career. So we're really looking forward to tap into your experiences and get the creative juices flowing for everybody else to learn from you and understand how partner marketing is done right.
Oh, wonderful.
So with that in mind, maybe you could give us a quick overview. How does partner marketing differ from the regular traditional marketing when we market to end users?
I think that's a really, really great question. And it really becomes extremely important when you're hiring. And I think I'm going to answer that question by saying what partner marketing is. And I think that will help differentiate from field marketing, corporate marketing, because there's so many various and diverse marketing functions within marketing. Marketing is a massive organization with multiple talents and functions. So let's talk about partner marketing. And I always talk about partner marketers as hybrids. And their skill set really needs to bridge not only the marketer, so they need the same level of expertise as a field marketer or a corporate marketer. But however, they also need channel account management skills. So they need to be able to understand how to collaborate with a partner, how to understand that the value proposition between our company, for example, as the vendor, and the partnering company, or who may also be another vendor, that they have a program, they have specific needs, they have unique people, and that we need to work together for that classic 1 + 1 = 3, versus what I've seen many times when you just put somebody in this role that it does not have that mindset, and they come at it with the branding guidelines book and say, well, no, Mr. Partner, your logo has to be smaller than mine. You have to do it my way. Here's the plan. And that just is not how you do partner marketing. The way you do partner marketing is, what's our joint value proposition to the end user and the customer? And then how do we as a team approach that plan to target that customer and hopefully win that customer over for a win-win on both our sides. So a little long-winded, but I'm pretty passionate about, what kind of a person that partner marketer needs to be for us to be successful.
Right. And you mentioned that that hiring process for these type of roles, and you mentioned that hybrid type of employee. So with that in mind, who really needs to be involved when you start developing your marketing strategy through partners? Is there other parts of the organization that need to be involved as well?
Absolutely. So let's step back away from the marketing for a moment, because truly what will lead the strategy is the organization. So from an organizational perspective, why are you partnering? Why do you believe you need to create a partner program? What is going to be the value to the company? And what are those metrics? Then from there, you need to determine what are the right partners for me? And really, it's kind of a simple, it's a question you can just ask yourself, which is, who has similar end user customers to me? And then and let's make sure they're not a competitor. And then you can really determine what type of partners you want. So for example, if you are a very high-end complex sale, I don't believe you're going to go after a reseller community where it's more transactional. So you really do need to understand strategically who are the right partner types that will complement your business and who have the same underlying customers. From there, you build your program. From that program, you then build your partner marketing strategy. And that those two absolutely need to complement each other for several reasons. One, of course, the obvious is you can't have marketing going off doing one thing when the program doesn't support it. But also from the perspective of the program, it helps the marketer have the conversation with the partner. So let's just take a classic tiered model, which a lot of us do, where you have the 3 tiers, whether they're your metals or your jewels, whatever it is. But let's just say you have a lower end partner that does not have MDF funds or does not have marketing resource benefits. And that partner goes to your account manager and says, I really want you to sponsor my $10,000 campaign and X, Y, and Z. And so within your program, they're not eligible for that. So how do you have that conversation as the marketer? And the reason I say the marketer is I firmly believe the account manager needs to truly be that trusted advisor. So as the marketer, when the hard conversations come up about marketing, let me do it. You maintain that trusted advisor relationship and I'll have the conversation. And I can have that conversation by bouncing off my program. So I can say, well, as a silver partner, we don't have these benefits. However, and I'm a big fan of however, yes, I don't like to say no, because if there's a need, let's try to fill it. I can say, however, I can work with you on a demand generation program because my corporate marketing demand gen team has created all of these campaigns in a box that are frankly very high end programs, but I can offer them to you for no cost. And if you need, I can do maybe some concierge marketing if you don't have the resources to execute it. So it gives you the program gives you the conversation and the background and the foundation to build the marketing conversation and the marketing strategy. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And thank you for explaining it so well. But that's an example where a partner is proactive, right? They come to you as a vendor, they come to their account manager and they ask for support because they really want to do something. But
Yeah.
how do you approach those partners that maybe aren't that proactive? They aren't reaching out and they need maybe that little bit of a push.
Oh, that is a fantastic question, and something I'm working on right now. And it's a situation that has happened to me every step of the way, whether it be on the sales side or the marketing side. So here's something that I'm thinking about, and that I've actually put in place before, and that is helping the partner by doing the work for them initially. So, for example, let's use a classic partner where you've signed the agreement. There is a joint value proposition. You both understand what your go-to-market strategy is, and now now you're at the onboarding, and this is really critical. At the first 90 days of, am I getting my new partner onboarded so that they understand how to talk about our joint solution or my solution, whatever it may be, so that they can communicate the value proposition and to the end user, etc. So when you have a partner that may have hundreds of other partners, candidly, or they may have 3 to 5, but they might be big partners that really either are bigger than you, have more mind share than you have, or frankly, they're just flat out. How do you help that account manager at the partner help you? So one of the ways you do that is you help them. And the way you can do that is by coming to that account manager and saying, I realize that you can't get to setting up that webinar for the enablement or et cetera. Let me do it for you. And one of the ways we can also do that is also let me put in front of you a jumpstart kit. And in that jumpstart kit has 3 to 5 programs that we know if we execute in this order, they will generate new business opportunities. And by the way, we'll run it. So again, I'm going to use the word concierge marketing. Let me run it for you. Let me take the work off your shoulders. I'll include you every step of the way, but I'll do it with you. And that's the other piece, that the account manager on our side is a secret weapon for partner marketing. Bring your partner marketing in. Let another resource come to the table. And it shows that your organization is invested in that partner, that you can bring to bear not only marketing, partner marketing, but in many cases, you can bring your entire organization with you. So your entire demand gen corporate team, your social team, your training team, bring everybody to bear, not to overwhelm, but to show your commitment and the fact that you can do some of the heavy lifting, if not all the heavy lifting, and get that partnership started. So you need to be proactive as the vendor, or as, that partner on this side of the equation.
That's fantastic. I'd say probably for vendors who are just starting to their journey with the channels, and we've seen a lot of companies go in that route since the pandemic has started, because they need a new way, the new route to the market. So that would be something that they would typically start with, right? They want to get the buy-in of those new partners that they have just onboarded,
right,
and help them out to reach those type of customers.
Absolutely. That, it's a partnership and it's a relationship. Unless it's a transactional partnership where where there's not going to be that reciprocation on the other side. Again, but if it's a more of a solution selling or a deeper selling, you've got to treat it as a relationship where there's give and take. And if you can give to help jumpstart it, the proactiveness will certainly be rewarded.
Excellent. Joan, before we hit record, and we had a catch up when we were trying to get you as a guest on the podcast, we talked a little about the different types of partner marketing, right? You mentioned the marketing to, marketing with, and marketing through. Would you mind giving us a rundown of what each of these is and who are these typically for?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. These are kind of the 3 wise men to me. This is how I approach, my partners and how they want to work with me. So the underlying, let's just say the foundational component that I firmly believe that you have to do regardless of partner type is you've got to do a marketing to. And that marketing too can take different forms based on your audience. So everything in marketing is always based on your audience. That never changes, whether you're a corporate marketer, field marketer, or partner marketers. You've got to know your audience. So from a marketing to perspective, this is where you share with your partner and the key stakeholders within your partner. So whether it be, another account manager, or it could be a field seller, that you need to make sure that you get in front of the way they want to be spoken to, the way they want to be communicated with, and in the time frame that they're willing to tolerate. So for example, in a more transactional partner, I would do 3-minute videos and 15-minute webinars, and they would come. If I did anything longer, they have too many other partners that, I wouldn't get that mind share. So it's again, and in other partners, it could easily be a 60-minute webinar. So you have to understand your audience, but that's your marketing too, where you share with your partner your value, who you are, what your solution is, how you're going to market together. And it also can be empowerment sessions. So this could be an opportunity for you to set up every 2 weeks you do a webinar. And again, it could, depending on your audience, but I have recently done 20-minute webinars. I do it every 2 weeks, and it is on tips and tricks on how to make money and with X company. And it's pretty brash, but this was the right thing for this audience because they enjoyed the directness. So That's the marketing too, is just making sure that the right people at your partner understand your company, your value proposition, how to sell it, and how to support the go-to-market. And then you can have a little bit of fun, get some enablement in there, some empowerment in there. Marketing with, this is my sweet spot. This is where I love to play. And you don't always get this opportunity depending on the partnership, because it takes a lot more let's just say, take and give and take with the partner. But this is where you determine that you are jointly going to go to market together to get that end user customer, to get that end user, that joint end user. And so this is where you have, your demand generation. You can also have, again, your concierge marketing. If your partner doesn't have the team, the staff, or the knowledge, you can jump in here and say, it's okay. I just, join with me, but we'll do the heavy lifting. You can do white glove marketing at this point where, it's very, very, very high end. You can also do one-to-many. You can do the campaigns in a box and a market with, because you can jointly logo it, and you can support some components of it. The other piece that you can do is bring in, again, in your marketing with, bring your company to bear. Bring in all of your support. So what are all of the, the great resources that maybe your demand gen organization might be able to offer the partner in a marketing with? And there's some pretty cool things you can do with Google, et cetera. So the marketing is when the two of you get together and you determine that you're going to jointly go to market and do demand generation, awareness, things like that. Marketing through, very important that you do your marketing too, because if your partner doesn't know how to sell your value proposition, they're not going to be able to market through. So what market through is when your partner is actually doing the selling. So the partner markets to the end user. And so that's pretty typical, for example, in a referral partnership type, where, you've educated, you've enabled the sellers, they're out there doing their business. And as they hear the keywords or the value proposition or the questions they're supposed to be listening for, they refer that end user back over to you. So that's a marketing through where, you've educated, but the partner is selling for you.
Right. Okay. So there are definitely different types of benefits when it comes to doing these, both for vendor and for the partner.
Yep.
So with so many different types of marketing and with different partners, for an organization that has, 20 plus partners at least,
yep.
How do you measure the ROI on the marketing spend with partners?
So first of all, ROI is absolutely key. And I love that you brought that up, because ROI is, you have to measure any part of marketing. So I'd like to answer that by saying, how do you even handle 20 partners and different ways that you're approaching the marketing with partners? Some may be no marketing. Some may be deep marketing. Some may just be marketing too. So backing it all up, one of the gating factors that I insist on as a partner marketer is a business plan and a marketing plan. And I'm not talking about a Harvard, 20-page Harvard business review type of thing. I'm talking about a fundamental, it can be a spreadsheet, it can be a Microsoft Word document, but it has the basics of the partnership, the initiatives, the value proposition, what are the targets, what are the goals, what are the KPIs. So if we're going after a certain number of closed won deals, what are the associated metrics? And then from there, marketing can take that and say, so we're going to this vertical. Here are the key initiatives we're trying to achieve. Here are the numbers for sales we have to hit. Then you build that marketing plan that maybe it's even your jumpstart kit that we talked about earlier, or it's just a simple, all right, so in Q1, we're going to do these 2 to 3 things in Q2. So I'm also a big fan of integrated marketing. The ad hoc, the onesie twosies, they don't really build. We know that it takes a lot more than that, many more touches to really get that customer to engage. So we build out, whatever that program is that starts from engaging with the customer to closing the customer. And it could be a couple of, programs in between. And you put the metrics on each one of those that hopefully will result in those sales that ties back to that business plan. So that's how you kind of scale and manage your business and manage your KPIs, is making sure they're aligning with what the partnership needs to achieve. Does that answer your question? I know I went about it in quite a little different way than you asked.
It does, but it does what it presents when 20 partners, maybe it is feasible for a couple of people within the channel team to do, or for the channel account managers. But what if you have more than that? I mean, should you be deploying any types of tools that would help you measure that and monitor the progress on an ongoing basis?
Mm-hmm.
Or how do vendors typically do that?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. That gets in kind of our MarTech stack, which where I am right now is the most amazing MarTech stack I've ever seen. But tools that absolutely will help you is your portal. And so if you have your PRM system connected to the partner, so the partner can actually, in some cases, we're very, you can either have like an open API, so you're integrated with both systems, or the partner can just simply log into your portal and be able to see, what are my leads, what are my opportunities, what are my closed ones, so they can get their own reporting. That's extremely helpful for all of us. I think another important metric here is you've got a one-to-one and you've got a one-to-many approach with partners as well. So that also helps to align your resource. So from the perspective of, let's say you have 2 people and you have 20 partners, 10-to-1 ratio, you might be able to pull that off, unless those partners are your behemoths. And, you've got 3 account or 4 account managers alone associated with that partner. You're not going to be able to give that channel marketer 10 more partners. So you really need to, at that point, look at your resource planning, as well as where can you gain economies and efficiencies through technology.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, throughout my conversations, we still find some vendors that are still using spreadsheets, PowerPoints, and kind of direct calls or some type of webinars for a given partner type. But they don't really have that, haven't really made that leap into a portal where they can have everything in one place for both the vendor and the partner to see not only the progress but also the results, and have really meaningful conversations that aren't based off of spreadsheet that only the vendor has, and then that's being reviewed once a quarter.
Exactly. Really, investing in, and these are not huge investments. I mean, you really can start small and build with all of the PRM systems that are out there today, and the CRM systems that are out there today, especially with software as a service model. It really makes a lot of sense, because for all of us who have done leads via email, I mean, we've all been there, where you're searching your email to make sure you captured all those leads, and then you may put them into your CRM, but it's one way. That's a dangerous game, because, the day you're out, nobody's reading your email. They may be your best opportunity in the world came through. So really having that PRM and then building upon your portal. So driving your partners to the portal for all their information, so it's easier for them to download or get access to, say, your accelerator kit. Oh, right. There's that channel card I need, or there's that data sheet I need to send to the customer, or I have to do a report. Let me just download, my leads based on me as the seller. So very important to have. And from a marketing perspective, it's also a great tool for us, because really limiting the multiple ways that you're communicating with your channel is helpful as well, because they've got so much to do. So if you can, either have that one vehicle that they are trained to understand that, you go to the portal, or, I'm trying to, for example, take newsletters and put the newsletters in the portal. So the portal's the one-stop shop. We're not all, there all the time, but that's really their nirvana, is trying to make it as efficient and easy for the partner.
Excellent. And would typically things like PRM, partner portals, would that also be an initiative that's typically undertaken by marketing, or would that be a combination of marketing, sales, product?
So it's very much, it depends on the company. It really does. But in my opinion, marketing absolutely has to take on the initiatives. In many cases, the budget comes out of marketing. Um, but, I've also seen it come out of sales. It definitely, in many cases also, marketing, partner marketing and sales are under the same organizations. They're under, it's a revenue or it's a sales organization where you may have partner marketing aligning and reporting into the sales organization. And I find that works the best, because there's a dotted line to marketing, so that, there's a bridge, and marketing loves partner marketing and partner marketing loves marketing. But the fact that I firmly believe partner marketing needs to be aligned with partner sales. So the PR, it could vary, but for the most part, it could come out of either budget.
Right. And I think it goes back to that type of a hybrid person that you spoke about. You need to be able to balance that very, very well.
You really do, because it's multiple roles bundled into one, and it's a very unique role, and it's not a role we go to school for. It's not a role anybody tells you about. I mean, for example, if you asked my husband what I do for a living, he says I'm in computers, because absolutely no idea what I do. What's channel, what's partner marketing? I don't get it. It's a concept that it's pervasive. We all have partner marketing, but yet it always seems like we're the quiet group. It's a very interesting phenomenon.
Right. Yeah, it is funny when you mention channel to people that have never heard of it, or have never experienced it in their jobs. They really find it quite hard to wrap their head around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've mentioned it many times. There, in the past, when I had people coming in onto a sales team, that did both direct and partners, we and having someone new coming in, and that person has never worked in, with, or through channel. It really takes quite a bit of time to get them up to speed, so they can actually understand, how do we go to market with partners? What do partners do for us? What do we do for partners? And how do we all make money out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I have started this podcast, because I think there are many people who might be curious about what channel is. It's not necessarily always a career choice by people, because that's not something they bring out of the university and think, do you know what? I think I can be a channel marketeer.
It's true. You always seem to be pulled into it. I mean, the role gets created in the company, and you get pulled into it, which is, how I started as well. But I'm looking forward to when it's a little more intentional, which I think is coming.
I think so too. And with that in mind, those type of, going into those roles, not being intentional and being pulled into it. What's the one thing you wish you knew before you started your career in a channel?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this, so I really had to put some thought into it. But candidly, this is such a good fit for me and my skill set and how I like to operate on a daily basis. I really love to all the moving parts and getting to know somebody else's business in some cases, and them trusting me with working with them on increasing their business. So I really wish this role, I knew it existed. It really would have been, when I started my career, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just said, I'll just go into marketing. Because back then, marketing was that big box that I really didn't understand either, but I needed some target to shoot for. And then I got pulled into partner marketing by a partner marketer, a partner sales leader who said, this is how you think. You've got to do this with me. And she was right. And I'm grateful for it. But I really wish that I knew that it existed. And I also, just to add on to that, I really think that personally that this should be some kind of curriculum in schools when we talk about marketing. The fact that there's not an entire course on partner marketing when we're talking about, all of the other wonderful aspects of marketing is that might be what I do next. I don't know. There's a university right up the street. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just create the partner marketing curriculum.
That would be so fantastic. And I'd say they would be very, very grateful if you created such a thing, and probably one of the first ever universities to offer such a thing. That would be absolutely amazing. And if you do, please let us know.
I will.
If you could maybe give us some parting, closing statements on the top do's and don'ts when it comes to launching a partner marketing strategy.
Oh, I would love to. I have a few firm opinions here, but I've also have the scars. So I'm going to share some of my best practices. And the first one is keep it simple. Don't try to overly impress people with either, taking your partner program and making it super clever name and really clever benefits and requirements. Be super simple. Partners really appreciate that is state what it is you're doing. What's your value proposition? How do they participate? What's their investment? What's the requirement? What's their return? Be very, very simple and very, very clear. We're in a very overcomplicated world and nobody's going to be impressed with you if you make it complicated. They'll be actually far more impressed if you can simplify it. So that's number one, is be brave, simplify it. Partner onboarding. It is an amazingly important function. When you sign a partner, there's studies that show you've got 90 days to really get that partner onboarded successfully for the partnership to be successful. So have a plan. And it can be really simple. It can be, the partner has to take look at these training videos. They have to read this collateral, and I'm going to give them, a test, or I'm going to go on the road with them on their first, for their first opportunity. Whatever it is, whatever fits your partner program, your ecosystem. But make sure, think about what do you do to onboard a new salesperson, and make sure that you're doing that with your partner. Same thing, your partner ecosystem is an extension of your sales organization. So just take what you've done for them, repurpose it, add it to the partner. And then have a checklist and do a kickoff. I love a good kickoff meeting. And I love getting everybody in the room and saying, well, we did it. Congratulations. We are now partners. What does that mean? So let's jointly, here's our agenda. Let's kick off this partnership. Let's not just say, go off into the ether and start, hitting the streets. Let's sit down and say, let's go over again. What's the partnership? Why are we together? What's our joint value proposition to the customer? What are the key initiatives that we're going to employ in our go-to-market strategy? Here are the targets, the KPIs. Here's who's doing what on the team. Go have a great time. It's a relationship. So take a minute. Do your kickoff, make it a big deal. Have, if we could be together, we'd have some great food, So that's one. And then here's an idea that I keep playing with, and I've done it a few times, and I want to do it again, is think about a jumpstart kit. Help your partner get started. When I first got into partnering, one of the key sales mantras was, before we sign the partnership, let's close our first deal together. Just to show, it's kind of a dry run. Let's see if we can actually, if our value proposition can actually be proved out. And I just think that is just brilliant, and it works. So what I'm thinking about on the marketing side is, why don't we do a jump start? Again, it's what are those, within our ecosystems, within our markets, what are those key programs that we could put in place together to test out how we market together? And so let's put a jumpstart kit together that we give. It's a gift. This is our, we're new partners. This is our gift to you. This is the jumpstart. We're going to pay for it, and we're going to help you do it. And let's work on it. Will you work with me on it? So I think, really trying to quickly come out of the gate as a team is important. And then here's my last one. is understand that your partner has a program too. So understand that there are gates that they have. And if it's a really big company, your channel account manager may not have a lot of flexibility in being able to get you into marketing. So for example, if you have to hit a certain threshold of revenue to be able to do demand generation, well, you need to know that before you go into that partnership, because that partner marketing organization probably has a pretty firm grasp on what their processes are. So you're not going to get in. Well, you don't want that to be a surprise to you when you sign a partnership and you realize you can't do demand generation. So you have to understand your partner's program and understand, even if you're not signing up for it or having to pay for it, if they've got gating factors before you get access to resources or are able to get access to the sales teams and train them, or to do marketing, or to do all the things you made assumptions on, that's a game changer for the success of your program. So understand that they've got a program, know what their program is before you're going into it.
That is fantastic. Joan, thank you so much for sharing all of these great tips with us and the best practices. I'm sure this will help quite a few people in the audience. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Joan, you've been an absolutely fabulous guest. Thank you so much for coming on and teaching us a little bit more about the marketing through partners, with partners, and to partners. I think that's a fantastic rundown of how it really should be done, the right way of doing things when it comes to marketing in the channel. So, and also I would be delighted if we could have you back at some stage, maybe towards the end of the year, and see what else have you learned throughout maybe the second year of the pandemic as we approach it, and understand if there's any new best practices that come out of this situation. And also, we did talk about hiring those people or people falling into these types of roles, but throughout my career, there was never a shortage of channel people. But since last year, through conversations either with our clients or with prospects, they all seem to struggle with talent for channel marketing and with channel account managers. There seems to be a shortage of people in the market right now, maybe because the vendors invest a lot more into channel because the times have changed. But also new vendors come into play, and they want their go-to-market strategy to be predominantly through channel, or maybe 50% of that going through channel.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I fully support what you're saying. Is I know myself is daily. From my network, I have people reaching out to me saying, do you know anybody that can lead my channel marketer, can lead my program, or can build a program for me? So absolutely, we know that channels is a go-to-market strategy that many more companies are employing, for cost efficiencies and scalability and reach. So I think you're absolutely right. I think channel is having its day. And I think I'll have a lot more to share with you at the end of the year. I would love to come back because we're always learning. That's the other beauty of the channel is there's situations that come up every day. You're never really sure how to handle it. And then you work it through. And that's what really gratifies us the most is working together and coming up with a great solution and a happy customer. So absolutely would love to come back and we'll share some more.
We'd love to have you back. Joan Groleau, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode. I do hope you found it valuable, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe and leave a review. You can also follow Channel Voices Podcast on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook, or just visit channelvoices.com where you can send me a message or leave a voicemail. All of the links are listed in the show notes, and once again, I appreciate you tuning in today. Until next time.